Hello, everybody. My name is Mason, and I'm a college student. Not a film student, I just happen to really like film. And today, I am about to see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I have not seen the movie yet. I am getting ready to leave for the theater now. But I just want to give my quick thoughts about the first movie and talk about how excited I am for this sequel. The first Doctor Strange movie is visually just perfect. It is so mind-boggling, and it's one of the things that I'm expecting to see amped up in the sequel. Now let's talk about the sequel. Okay, I'm so hyped for this movie, and I'm going to leave my expectations at the door. Okay, that's just what I do. But damn, is it going to be hard. I am so excited to see Professor Xavier back. Okay, Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier. Is he going to continue to be Professor X in the MCU? We will see. Are we going to see Reed Richards, who is part of the Illuminati? Are we going to see a variant of Iron Man? Only, what, an hour until I start to find out. I have dodged spoilers. I'm so excited, so here I go. I just got back from seeing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I really like this movie. It is not the best Marvel movie. I really, really, really did like this movie. But it's not top tier MCU. Like, it is a solid movie, but it's not bringing me the wow factor that I was hoping for. I'm a big fan of Sam Raimi's films. Evil Dead, the Spider-Man trilogy. I even like Spider-Man 3. Not as much, obviously, as the other two, but I do enjoy Spider-Man 3. I've been very excited for his take on Doctor Strange. You know, when they announced this movie, I think in like 2019, they said this was going to be Marvel's first horror movie. And when they announced that Sam Raimi was going to be directing, who obviously has roots in horror, I have been very excited for that. And I must say, they do deliver on some of the horror elements. It's not a scary movie. It's not. But there's a lot of Sam Raimi horror. There's a lot of creepy looking movement, and some actually there's some genuinely, like, I would say if I was a 6-year-old, I would be terrified. This is not a movie that a kid should probably see, or at least not understanding that this is going to be scary for them. But for me, it wasn't really like, oh my god, I'm terrified. I'm not going to have nightmares over this or anything. But I did enjoy his take. And there's a lot of very Sam Raimi, esque dialogue and just scenes in general. There's a hilarious fight scene that involves the use of music and just the way the music is. It's just spectacular. It might be my favorite scene of the movie in terms of just pure enjoyment. But yeah, so let's talk about what should we talk about? I guess we could first talk about the story. So here's the thing. The story was one of the things I was actually kind of worried about going into this movie because, I mean, let's be honest. Multiverse is a pretty confusing topic. Now, Everything Everywhere All at Once did a great job with the multiverse concept. It did a better job, I think, than Doctor Strange did. at least in terms of overall narrative, right? But yeah, so I was worried that they were going to make it very confusing for the general audience. You know, those of us that are, our whole lives revolve around, pop culture stuff like Marvel and DC and Star Wars. We understand these topics a little better just because it's been part of our lives for a long time. But I was wondering that, would this be too difficult for the general audience to understand? And personally, I don't think it would have been that difficult. I think they laid out the groundwork pretty well. Yeah, I was also wondering, is this going to tie into some of these Disney Plus shows? And some of them they do, some of them they don't. Wanda is in this movie. It pretty much leads directly after WandaVision. And, the spoilers for WandaVision, if you haven't seen it, but it's been out for over a year now. Wanda no longer has her imaginary kids. Vision is dead. Again. Sort of, but not really. Anyway, she has the Darkhold, and she is the Scarlet Witch now. Okay? So this movie takes place, like, directly after those events, essentially. I mean, obviously it's been some time or whatever, but I don't think they made WandaVision required viewing, which I was kind of happy about, I guess, because they would have really pigeonholed themselves from people who... There's a lot of people that haven't seen WandaVision. Let's just be for real here. But I think they took a lot of the main points of that show and put it there for the general audience to be like, okay, I know where I am. Because I was with some friends that haven't seen WandaVision, and I think they probably understood what was going on. But, so there's that. Wanda's in it, cool. Excited to see her. Love Elizabeth Olsen as this character. She is awesome. The multiverse. There was a lot less multiverse than I thought there was going to be. I'm going to be honest. In the trailer you see they go through a bunch of multiverse, a bunch of universes, but they don't stay in a lot of universes, and I was kind of disappointed about that. I really wanted to see a lot of different universes. But what they gave us, this, you got to leave your expectations at the door, right? What they gave us was great. Everything was different enough to really be like, okay, wow, there's a lot of things going on here that's different. And that was awesome. I was kind of hoping, and I know I'm supposed to leave your expectations at the door, but I was hoping we would see some other universes that were just slightly different, Pretty much all these universes, at least the ones that we stayed in, were drastically different. Which does make for good contrast, When you're doing a multiverse, it gives you the opportunity to show drastically different things. And they did that well. But it would have been cool to see, that's just off the top of my head, a Doctor Strange where, a universe where he didn't lose his fingers, or lose the ability to use his fingers. He never lost his fingers, I guess, but, just how that would have played out or something. But what they gave us was great. Overall, the narrative was not too difficult to understand, at least I would hope. And, they took the existing stuff that was meant for the story, that, really pushed the story forward from other properties, and they took the important materials there and gave it to you. And I thought that was a great idea. So, overall, I think the story was, for the most part, it was great. Let's talk about some of the performances in this movie, because honestly, all of them were good. I can't give you an example of a bad performance. Rachel McAdams, awesome. She's always been good. She's great in this. The girl that plays America Chavez, which honestly, I can't pronounce her first name. I really can't. I saw it on the credits. I was like, yeah, there's no way. I'll have to have it told to me at some point. But she was really good. She was. I saw that she was like casted when she was like 13 or 14, but she really held her own against the wonderful Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, obviously he is always bringing his A game, but her chemistry with him was really good. I can see why she landed that role. I mean, her character is just. I don't want to go too much into detail, but she's a really interesting character. You know, I am barely familiar with her character going into this movie. I already like her character. I'm excited to see the continuation of her character. I won't go into details about that, but yeah, America Chavez's character was awesome. She was great. Benedict Cumberbatch. He had the opportunity to play, let's just say, several versions of himself. You know, alterations. Benedict Cumberbatch. He is just wonderful as Dr. Stephen Strange. I can't really go into specific details, but gosh, he just. Doctor Strange is Benedict Cumberbatch, just same way that Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr., the same way that Captain America is Chris Evans. He brings his A game to this movie, and I am so excited to see him return again because, damn it, do I love him as Doctor Strange. Alright. Wanda. Elizabeth Olsen. The Emmy-nominated actress for playing the same character a little over a year ago. Damn. Wanda is awesome. Elizabeth Olsen, oh my god. She just kills it as this character every time she plays her. Damn. I think I prefer her over Benedict Cumberbatch in this movie. I think she is the A-list of this movie. There's just so much emotion with her character. You know, like she's had a lot of shit go on in the past. You've seen it in Age of Ultron. You've seen it in Civil War. You saw it in Infinity War. You saw it in Endgame. You saw it in WandaVision. But here is where it finally. And Elizabeth Olsen just acts the hell out of it. You see a few other versions of her as well in this movie, of her character, not of Elizabeth Olsen. But yeah, I mean, everybody. You got to talk about Benedict Wong as Wong. Oh my god, I love his character so much. He is a scene stealer in everything he's in. He plays a great Wong. Let's just say that. The acting in this movie is just incredible. It's probably the best part of the movie is just the performances. The story's great. But the performances are wonderful. But anyway, those are just my non-spoiler thoughts on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. If you've seen the movie, at the end of this video, I'm going to go into some spoilers because there are some scenes that I really want to talk about, and I just need to talk about them. But if you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie if you like Marvel movies. I think if you like Marvel movies, you're going to really like this movie. If you like Sam Raimi movies, I think you are also going to really like this movie. If you don't really care about these movies, this one might not be for you. I think it's got a lot of foundation of other properties that kind of come in here, but they do a good job of not making it required viewing. But I still think if you haven't seen those other things, you probably aren't going to enjoy this. So maybe skip this one. But if you haven't seen it yet and you're just waiting for my wonderful thoughts of this movie, have they changed your mind? Tell me in the comment section down below. I always like hearing your guys' thoughts, even if you don't actually speak them to me, But whatever. Leave a like on this video if you want to see more content like this, and subscribe as always. Until next time, my name is Mason, and I will catch you in the next video. Or right now in this spoiler discussion. Alright, here's your warning. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Reed Richards is in this movie! Oh my god, and it's John Krasinski. Oh, yes. Big fan casting moment. I got so excited. I just had a feeling that we would see him, and seeing him on this big screen as Reed Richards was wonderful. And Wanda killed him. He killed the entire Illuminati. It is a multiverse, though. Do I think John Krasinski is going to be Reed Richards going forward? I don't know. Because they, in this movie, have laid groundwork that some of the multiverse variants of these characters can be the same person, right? The same actor. Some of them can be different people, right? You had a different Captain Marvel. You had different Peggy Carter, you did have a different Peggy Carter, but you had a different Captain America stuff, right? But I don't know if we'll see John Krasinski back. I really hope so, especially now that they've announced that John Watts is not the director of Fantastic Four. It's been speculated that maybe Kevin Feige convinced John Krasinski to be Mr. Fantastic if John Krasinski could also direct a Marvel movie, because he is, mentioned that he wanted to direct a Marvel movie. And maybe he'll play Reed Richards in a Fantastic Four if he gets to direct. Because John Krasinski is a wonderful director. I mean, A Quiet Place 1 and 2 are brilliantly directed films. So, a good chance, and those were both about families, right? Fantastic Four is Marvel's first family. You could hopefully get Emily Blunt. I know she passed on Black Widow, but maybe she'll do this with her husband and they can be a married couple again on screen. I don't know. But let's talk about, I guess real quick, before we talk about the death of the Illuminati, Black Bolt. I was genuinely surprised they had the same guy from that awful Inhuman show. Because, that show was just awful. And Kevin Feige completely distanced himself from that show because, A, it was awful. He had no control over any of that. I think it was Ike Perlmutter that had all that stuff going on, and they don't like each other. But they had him in there. Because I watched most of the show. I never actually finished it, but him as Black Bolt was cool. He definitely, he doesn't talk in the show, right? But his facial expressions and acting was always good. So seeing him in the movie was like, oh wow, okay. And then his brain exploded. The whole death of the Illuminati scene, which I kind of saw coming because in the trailer you saw Wanda breaking those Ultron bot heads. it reminded me of Invincible. And if you've seen Invincible, you know what I'm talking about. All of those heroes just being murdered. Not nearly as graphic as Invincible, but it was violent. It was like, what? They actually doing this? Like, Black Bolt's head being, or his brain, like, just imploding, and then his head just sinking in. That was graphic. And then you have Mr. Fantastic just being torn to shreds, and then his head popping. There's even a pop sound. It's like, whoa, there goes John Krasinski. I hope he returns. I really do. Captain Carter being cut in half with her own shield. And then Captain Marvel smashed. I mean, that was kind of a lame death for her, but oh well. The Illuminati. Oh, Patrick Stewart. I knew going into this movie that he was in it because in the trailer. Very excited to see her. He had the classic green suit with the gold chair from the 90s X-Men cartoon. And they even played the music thing. It was great. When he did this, had the circles. That was a really nice touch. I respect the effort you put in on that. His death was terrifying too. I mean, he was in Wanda's mind, trying to, free the dream walked, the Wanda that was being dream walked upon, I guess. And then Wanda just comes behind, the Scarlet Witch comes behind him and just snaps his neck. That was another little terrifying scene, for sure. So, I don't think Patrick Stewart is going to return because, I mean, let's face it, he's in his 90s. Like, he's too old to continue on being Patrick Stewart. It was great seeing him in the MCU, but yeah, he's not going to be our Professor X. I don't know what they're going to do about Black Bolt. I don't think he'll return because, again, I think Kevin Feige really didn't want any part of that show. I think the only reason they did it is because Black Bolt is an Illuminati member in the comics, and it's multiverse, so it's really not a part of our mainline 616 universe. But, damn it, I hope John Krasinski comes back because he's just awesome and his suit looks so good. It's like, and if he's not in there, I'm gonna be sad. But I will appreciate the fact that they gave us that fan casting because Patrick Stewart was always a fan casting. I was too young for that whole hype going on about everybody wanting Patrick Stewart to eventually play Professor X. But that's what happened. And it happened again with John Krasinski. Overall, that stuff was awesome. Now, let's talk about Wanda for a second. I had a big feeling she was going bad. For two reasons. One, at the end of WandaVision, she has the Darkhold. And the Darkhold corrupts, right? And she's got so much baggage that you take that and the Darkhold, you're easily corruptible. And also, they didn't have a villain in the trailer, so yeah. Wanda's a great villain. Her motivation for her kids was exceptional because you had all of that WandaVision where she truly loved her kids. But she made some really awful decisions. Like, her want for these kids. You know, she wanted to just screw over another Wanda, like that Wanda would also just do the same thing to go and try and get her kids back. You know, it's like, uh. But again, you know, she had her motivations. They were believable, at least in this setting up of a Marvel universe, right? But she was scary. I mean, she was. I talked about her acting. It's just great. Like the emotion on her face, especially when she terrified those other versions of her kids. I was like, damn, Elizabeth, you killed it there. Holy crap. All right, let's talk about what I think might be my favorite scene. The fight between our Doctor Strange, and the Darkhold corrupted Doctor Strange, who from the trailers everybody thought was the Doctor Strange Supreme from the What If series, because you know we had What If Captain Carter in here. Well, I guess it wasn't really the same one, maybe, but you know, the same idea. It wasn't, but that fight was so freaking funny. The music, the literally you throwing music notes at each other, and just like, oh my god, I was laughing so hard. I mean, you can see the enjoyment just thinking back on it. Oh man, was that was so Sam Raimi. I mean, that is the, the scene I'm most looking forward to seeing again. It's so funny. Oh, Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell is in essentially all of Sam Raimi's movies. I think probably all of them. I don't remember if he's in Oz the Great and Powerful or not. But I was under the assumption that he was playing a Doctor Strange variant in this movie, because like I'm pretty sure Bruce Campbell posted an image of him being dressed like Doctor Strange in like a makeup room or something. So I thought that's what we were gonna get. Instead, he's a pizza ball stand worker. His stuff was funny though. I will admit. His post credit scene, like, it's over, like, go home. You know, some Ferris Bueller action there. Um, I was a little sad that it wasn't like a Doctor Strange variant, because I think Bruce Campbell's awesome. But what we got was still funny, and it was just a cameo. You know, it was nothing too major, which is probably the right decision, I guess. But still a little sad we didn't get a Doctor Strange Bruce Campbell, because I think he would be cool. But anyway, those for the most part are my spoiler thoughts on the movie. So, what did you think about the movie? Tell me in the comment section down below. Leave a little spoiler tag or something if you want to talk about spoilers. I did have a good time with this movie. I really did. There's a lot of spoilers in there that I'm glad I didn't find out about. So, anyways, until next time, my name is Mason, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.